1000万 MLB 翻訳侍戦士チャンネルへようこそ。ワールドシリーズ開幕を控え、ドジャースの大谷翔平選手に注目が集まっています。LCS で調子を上げ、初のワールドシリーズ出場への期待が高まる中、現地解説者たちの分析をお届けしていきます。ご意見やご感想がありましたら、ぜひコメント欄までお願いいたします。このチャンネルでは、メジャーリーグの日本人選手に関する現地放送局の様子を翻訳してお届けいたします。お見逃しのないよう、チャンネル登録をお願いいたします。ぜひ最後までご覧ください。
World Series Report presented by Capital One, getting you set for the Yankees and the Dodgers. World Series Game 1 at Dodger Stadium as we're just days away. First fall classic since 1956 to feature each league's home run champion. And assuming Judge and Ohtani claim MVPs, just the second World Series meetings of MVPs since 1988. So we're focusing on the big three. It's not just Judge and Ohtani. Of course, it's Soto, Stanton, Mookie, and Freeman as well. The numbers so far in this postseason, on OPS over 1,000 for the Yankees and 860 for the Dodgers. So far the Yankees would have the edge, at least by that measure. More home runs, more RBI, and the average basically is a toss-up. Back with Mike Lowell and Carlos Pena. So let's go through the big three. First off, for the Dodgers, Ohtani, Mikey, got off to a slow start in the LDS, but then was great in the NLCS, seemed to find his groove. Clearly is a guy who looks like he's going to play his best in his first ever World Series.
So we had to pick who's the more dangerous threesome, right? So I said, for me, Juan Soto is the best hitter in all baseball. You have, like you said, he's going to be the MVP of the American League and probably the most prodigious power hitter of our generation. So with all that being said, I'm taking the Dodgers.
Wow.
All right? And we're splitting hairs here. I don't want to slight the Yankees because I'm taking the Dodgers, and that's why I've gone so back and forth in our speculation and predictions in the series. But I look at these three guys, and what I see out of the three of them is consistent quality at-bats. And I think they're tougher to pitch to, and when you get to the World Series, you're facing the best arms in the toughest situations, the highest leverage situations. I think what separates the Dodger threesome is going to be the factor of when you look at Ohtani, with his 55 stolen bases, and Mookie Betts, who actually steals almost 3 times as often in the postseason as he does during the regular season. I think that brings an element of discomfort for the opposing pitcher. When you got guys that are looking to take the extra base every pitch, it speeds you up a little bit. It makes you maybe want to throw a couple more fastballs, which might set up a better pitch for the hitters following through. With that being said, Carlos Pena, who do you got?
I'm going to make the case for the Yankees. And because the question, the way I interpret it was, who do you fear the most, right? And that threesome right there, that group, it's just scary. I mean, because you know that with one swing of the bat, you could just twist the score around in the scoreboard, right? Now, when you look at the fact that, you know, Soto has been great, right?
Yes.
You saw how Stanton showed up and came up with huge hits. But Judge hasn't even gotten going yet.
Yes.
Right? He got some big hits, but he hasn't been performing up to the level that we know he's capable of performing. This is the thing, Mike. All he has to do is touch it, and he could just leave the yard. And that is a scary thought. And the fact that he is due. And we've seen what he's done during the regular season. No, he's been a little absent there in the postseason. But if this guy turns it on and we see Stanton continue to his streak, because he's a very streaky hitter, I'll give you that, Mike. You're right.
Yeah.
These three are firing all cylinders. This group right here, if you ask me, the question is who's the most feared? I would say right here, the Yankees.
So the concern right now of the Yankees, Judge, as you mentioned, 161 this postseason, 0 for 7 runners in scoring position. And Mikey, with the Dodgers, Freddie Freeman is only 1 for his last 16. Clearly hobbled by this ankle injury. He missed games 4 and game 6, has 6 days off, but that might neutralize that big three a little bit if Freddie's not as usual.
I agree. I think that's the question mark of, are we going to get consistency on the Yankee side from Stanton? Because although his home runs were huge, he had 4 hits the whole ALCS. They were all huge home runs, which I give it to him. But it was 4. So he might seemingly be more pitchable.
Yes.
Freddie Freeman, if his ankle's not significantly better, which I hope with 5 days off it would be, because I want to see these two teams at full strength. I think it neutralizes some of his power. Like he's even said, I can make a good swing, but you know, can you generate the same type of power? Is that extra base power and that home run threat still very prevalent, which I don't think it would be if you're on a bum ankle that you know, reports are saying it usually takes 4 weeks to heal. Hey, hurry up, you got 4 days. You know, it's not really fair to him, but it kind of speaks of what a true warrior he is.
Maybe he'll get his Kirk Gibson moment, speaking of a Dodger pumping.
You never know.
It's interesting also, Los, 5 of the 6 guys have won MVP, and you mentioned the guy maybe the best of them all is Soto, who has not won MVP. 3 home runs in the LCS.
I mean, he's just so locked in. Every single at-bat, it's an epic battle. I mean, he goes out there, picks an area and a pitch and sits on they're waiting for the pitch to hit. I mean, the discipline just goes through the roof. Very difficult to pitch to. And these teams are guys, you got to throw strikes. If you're going to go up against any of these teams, if you're a pitcher, you better be in the strike zone. Otherwise, these guys are going to find themselves on first base. But that's scary to come in the strike zone to these guys. Stanton, Judge, Soto, all they have to do is just touch it and they can leave any park. We're talking about Stanton and a Judge specifically, Mike. We look at that they're perennially among the league leaders in exit velocity. Rightfully so, because even when they don't make perfect contact, it's an absolute missile. They're so strong.
Our buddy Cliff Floyd did a great breakdown on Soto. Specifically, Mikey, there's nobody who hits the high fastball quite like him. And you guys know this. 95 up in the zone with that kind of rise. If you can make contact, it's one thing. Soto does damage with that pitch.
Yeah, and he opened my eyes in the 2019 World Series because he hit a couple high fastballs. And Garrett Cole was there, Justin Verlander was there, and I was like, this 20-year-old is doing this? And when you really look at his mechanics, what's really unbelievable is he has a powerful load with minimal to no head movement. I actually think from his point where he sets, his head is a little bit behind. Most guys, they shift a little bit forward, but with Soto, it looks like he actually shifts back. It seems like he buys an extra 6 inches of being able to pick up the ball, the visual, and maybe one click later he can wait than most other guys. Besides that, he has elite plate discipline, and I think the fact that when you mentioned Carlson, he looks for a certain pitch or a certain zone, to be able to look forward and be disciplined to not swing at the one that looks almost like that is almost as important because then you buy the next pitch. I think we saw with the Hunter Gaddis at bat. It was nasty slider, and it was kind of defensive swings. I'm still kind of on. He's not going to strike me out. Comes with a fastball. I was really ready for that one. Then he takes your bridge. So that's what makes him so tough, and that's where I think, what lefty do you bring in to give him maybe an awkward view? Because I don't believe there's a lefty that's just going to come in, hey, we're going to dominate you, Juan. That guy doesn't exist on the planet.
And I must add to that, because one of the things, he's a very feared hitter, hits a lot of home runs, 40 plus in the regular season, very flat swing. And that's why he can let the ball travel so deep into the zone. So for the young guys out there, it's like, hey, I want to be like Soto. Well, do not interpret the exit velo and the angle of the home runs as coming underneath and trying to scoop up the baseball. This guy's in the zone very early, stays on it for a very long time, very rotational. It's a very distinct style, but level works.
I want to be like Juan Soto, too. I got little leaguers. I want to know what it feels like.
13 home runs against lefties and a .550 slugging percentage. Lefty on lefty, no problem.
Exactly.
I'll take this.
Unbelievable.
メジャー翻訳速報。ワールドシリーズの見どころについて、とても興味深い内容でしたね。特に、ドジャースの大谷翔平選手を含む強力な3人組と、ヤンキースの3人組との比較が印象的でした。大谷選手は55盗塁も記録しており、攻撃面での多様性がチームに大きな武器をもたらしています。フリーマン選手の足首の状態が気になりますが、大谷選手とベッツ選手の機動力が相手投手を揺さぶる展開に、今から胸が高鳴ります。皆様も、この歴史的な対決を、どのように予想されているでしょうか。ぜひコメント欄で教えてください。では、次回の動画でお会いしましょう。ご視聴ありがとうございました。